Color me surprised by this news, but I think you guys are going to be pretty surprised by it as well. When I saw this, I kind of did a double take. I was like, this is very interesting, but it is much in line with something that I've mentioned multiple times on Crossfire Podcast, and some people even messaged me on social media later saying that I was kind of crazy for bringing this up and mentioning the quality difference in what we're seeing with Microsoft. I think Microsoft really has a handle on what's coming. I also think that they're letting their developers do what they need to do in order to have quality titles. Now, not every title is going to be built for me specifically. They're not going, hey, let's build a game for Crap Gamer and see what happens. That's not what's happening, folks. What's happening is they have a variety of developers who develop a variety of different games for a variety of different people, since none of us are the same, and something that appeals to me might not appeal to you. Right? So that's something to keep in mind when we look at the situation with Microsoft, when we look at the situation with Sony. So, like, for instance, and I'll give you a good for instance, and even though I am a quote-unquote Xbox fanboy, I wasn't a big Psychonauts 2 fan. So that's a high-quality game. I see why it scored well, but it just wasn't for me. Right? Like, same thing with Returnal. Quality game, scored well, but just not for me. So the fact that Microsoft is doing this is very interesting, and this announcement today put to rest any lingering doubts, in my opinion, and really kind of shut some people up, and I'm happy to hear that, because at the end of the day, Microsoft has done something that I didn't think was possible, and that's come back from the disaster that was the Xbox One. Let's jump into it. Hey everybody, I'm Crap Gamer, and of course this is Crap Gamer Reviews, your home for gaming news, opinions, reviews, and much more. You'll probably notice a few changes around here, but that shouldn't stop you from leaving us a like, and possibly consider subscribing if you haven't done so already. Thank you so much for choosing to spend some of your free time with me today. It means a lot. Please like the videos if you are here to watch anything. It definitely means a lot to me that you guys come out and watch the videos. So previously I had mentioned that, Xbox had seemed to be going up in quality in their releases. Gone were the days of the Recores and the, State of Decay 2s, as well as Crackdown 3s and things like that. These games that score, in the 50s and 60s. And people are going to be much better off for that. And this is going to be what I'm talking about. So Microsoft was Metacritic's highest rated publisher in 2021 with the largest average score ever. The publisher beat out Sony even, which placed second. Metacritic has revealed that Microsoft is the winner of its 12th annual game publishing rankings countdown. 10 products published by Xbox Game Studios were reviewed in 2021, 5 games released over various formats, and the average Metacritic score was 87.4. Of these titles, 100% were rated good, 3 of them were rated great, scoring over 90, Forza Horizon 5, Psychonauts 2, and the Xbox Series X version of Microsoft Flight Simulator. According to Metacritic, this marks the first time a publisher has ever averaged over 85 in a Metacritic score in a year since its annual ranking started over 12 years ago. Sony had to settle for the silver medal, shameful silver, coming in second place with an average Metacritic score of 81.3. It released 11 products, 10 separate games, and 1 MLB The Show released on 2 formats. Of these 11 products, 10 were rated good, but none were rated great, with an average score over 90. The games that affected Sony's position most were Destruction All-Stars, which released to a disappointing Metacritic score of 62. Both placements were an improvement over 2020's rankings in that year. Microsoft could only manage 6th place while Sony was 4th. The winner that year was Sega. The full list of 43 publishers, which only counts those released 5 or more games in 2021, can be found on the site, but the top 10 are here, and I'm going to link you guys, and you can check it out. Microsoft was number 1 with an 87.1 or 4 last year. Sony was second with an 81.3 average. Humble Games was third with an 80.9. Activision Blizzard was 4th with an 80.6. Bethesda Softworks was at 5th with an 80.2. Capcom was 6th with an 80.6. Bandai Namco was 7th with a 78.5. Sega was 8th with a 77.6. Electronic Arts was 9th with a 78.3. And 505 Games rounds out the top 10 with a 75.7. Note, this list is calculated with a point system which takes into account not just average Metascore, but the number of products released and the number receiving bad or great scores. This is why some games are ranked higher despite having a lower average Metacritic score. I think at the end of the day, what this means is it just means that, there's going to be quality games going inside Xbox Game Pass. And a lot of people were worried or are worried, and this was me at one point in time as well, worried about the quality of these games. Are they going to build games for the ground up for Game Pass? Are they built specifically for Game Pass? Are they built specifically to lure people in? Are they built specifically to, to bring people to go back to Game Pass and keep paying a fee? I mean, you might look at things and look at Sea of Thieves, for instance, and go, well, now there's a game that realistically is geared to get people to go back to Game Pass and spend money and keep subscribing and things like that. That's the big difference to me. But I think that that's just a shared world game that they wanted to do. And so I think that there's a huge difference between that and something like what we're starting to see now. We saw some Redfall screenshots leak out the other day, and the game looks much, much better than what I think any of us really thought it would. And I think that game's going to come out this year and it's going to do well. I think Forza Motorsport's going to come out and it's going to be received well. And I think Starfield is going to come out in November and it's going to be received extremely well. And I know some people kind of mock that or whatever because Microsoft tends to put games out at the holiday and forget the rest of the year. I don't think that's intentional. I think what we're seeing is they're giving developers time. They're giving developers the resources they need, and not forcing these games to be rushed out is a huge deal, right? This is something that old Microsoft would never have done. A game needed to come out, then they had to rush it and put it out. This is why we got stuff like Fable 3 that took a step back from Fable 2. Microsoft kind of ruined their own franchises back in the day, right? So think about this. Fable 2 is probably well respected, universally liked. It was G4 X-Play's Game of the Year that year when it came out, and then they rushed them 2 years later to come out with the sequel, and the game took a step back in a lot of ways, right? And then, of course, they forced them to do Legends because they were chasing that free, that free-to-play dollar bill, and that's unfortunate to say the least. Now, what we do see now is that Microsoft, even though they're coming out with stuff that maybe doesn't always appeal to me, like I couldn't care less about Flight Simulator. I realize it's quality, but it's not for me. Right? I thought Halo was good. I think Forza Horizon 5 is good. I think Redfall interests me. Forza Motorsport interests me. And, of course, Starfield interests me. But that doesn't mean that all their games will continue to interest me, right? Like, some stuff won't. Like Deathloop. That's going to be coming out this year sometime on Xbox. And I have zero real interest in that game personally. Now, you guys might be super interested in that game. But for me personally, it's not something that I am like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to play that. You know what I mean? So yeah, to me, that's how I look at these type of things. And we continue to see, Microsoft and Sony battle it back and forth, and to see Sony kind of take a little bit of a loss, I think that definitely kind of changes some things to what we're used to seeing. So. Hopefully, anyway, we continue to see some great things from Microsoft and Sony. I know for me personally, I think that seeing Microsoft Studios actually pick up in terms of the quality is a very surprising thing. And I'm not saying that they're going to beat, like, this is the thing that people don't understand. They get so offended and people get, like, up in arms when I bring this up. I don't think they're going to beat, like, some of the quality aspects of the big single-player single-player games that Sony has. Like, I don't see them beating a God of War or whatever, right? Like, I think there's a good chance that Starfield's going to be maybe 90-plus rated meta, and I think that, Forza Motorsport has a chance to get 90 rated. It's given these developers time. It's like, you guys have to see the difference, right? Like, I can't be the only one. There's a big difference happening right now, and that's kind of what I wanted to point out. There's a difference to kind of what's going on and the difference between where we've been, and that's, I think, showing that Microsoft has learned stuff, right? Like, people can be ignorant, and I can be ignorant too. We all can be ignorant, but I think the fact of the matter is we can learn from the past and adjust our future. Like, you can't be the same today as you were 5 years ago. That's not how growth works. That's not how people work. You have to learn from. That's not how businesses flourish. You have to continue to evolve. You have to continue to get better. You have to continue to do these things that are going to appeal to a vast variety of people. And it looks like Microsoft is doing that. They've learned their lessons. They're kind of investing heavily into video games, and we're seeing changes with the quality. This is huge, and I know some people are going to downplay it, but please just give it a chance and let me know what you guys think. Sound off, rate, comment, subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. Have a fantastic day. Rack 'em up, fact 'em up, crap gamer 'em up, crap gamer out.